what you're about to see is a project that we did for 8th grade, which is the Expo. And what the Expo is an independent research project. So each 8th grade student conducted independent research at their home, and they reported their research out to the class and also to the community.
I'm Leo. My science project was to design a solar oven to cook food. I chose this experiment because I found out about solar energy while helping a friend with this project. My experiment was to try to cook a piece of ham with different amounts of power. 2,000 kilowatts, 3,500 kilowatts, 4,000 kilowatts, and 5,000 kilowatts for 1 hour. I found out that as the power increased, the oven dried up the ham to the point where it would shrivel, and the color of the ham would fade. Also, if I would had to do this again, I would try different designs of the oven and try to cook different foods. Maybe something that would melt like ice cream. And this is my project that I designed. And I would put the ham in here.
Hello, my name is Amy, and my experiment involved baking cookies. I wanted to determine the relationship between cookie quality and the amount of baking powder used. I found that if you added too little baking powder, the cookie appears to be undercooked, but less baking powder makes less of a difference in cookie form. If more baking powder is added, the cookies cook faster and are larger in form. They also start to collide with other cookies when more baking powder is used. I chose this project because I thought that baking interested me and I loved experimenting with food.
So, does the name of a company relate to how much the company is worth? I used a correlation calculator, which is a calculation showing if two variables are related. I found the number of letters in a business name is related somewhat to how much the company is worth. The most profitable companies are one-word business names with 6 letters. I did this experiment because I was curious about names in general and if a name related to something interesting.
My experiment was about the Stroop effect. The Stroop effect is the delay of congruent stimuli and reaction time versus incongruent stimuli and reaction time. An example of congruent stimuli is reading aloud the word red and having the letters written in red. An example of incongruent stimuli is reading aloud the word red but written in a different color, such as green. I found that subjects who are younger take less time to react correctly to incongruent data, and the people who are more introverted tend to question themselves less during the process than extroverts.
Hello, my name is Tony, and I use math to detect if a data set was fake, especially when the data involves money. Benford's law states that naturally occurring data sets follow a specific pattern. Data can be tested against this law to determine if it is real. I used Benford's law with earthquake damage from the state of Kansas. The data looked real, but the calculation showed that the financial data was fake.
My name is Thomas, and my experiment was about flame testing with metals. Flame testing is a process of heating in metals so that the electrons move from the original energy state to a higher one. When the electrons move, color is reduced because color is related to the frequency of a wavelength. I found that different metals produce different colors, but not the same quality of a real lab because I was using household materials. I chose the experiment because I like chemistry and experiments involving reactions in fire.
My experiment analyzed the relationship between solar flares and occurrences of earthquakes. A solar flare is an intense eruption of radiation from the sun related to sunspots. I took data from 5 major solar flares in the past decade and tried to determine if earthquakes occurred near the timeline for solar flares. I found that there is about 1 month lag time between a solar flare and an earthquake. I chose this to help better the safety of people who lived where earthquakes were a more common occurrence.
Hello, my name is Sophia. My experiment was about making ice cream and how freezing the ice cream is affected by the amount of sugar used. When a substance such as sugar is added to a substance that is supposed to freeze, the sugar, or soda, disrupts the process so that the time it takes to freeze is increased. This lowers the freezing point. I did this experiment because I enjoy experimenting with foods.
Hi, my name is Reed. My experiment was called Is Video Gaming Addictive? I researched surveys or questionnaires to ask people about their responses to not gaming for 2 weeks. The responses were then analyzed after the 2 weeks. I found that although people may have negative responses to abstaining from gaming, does not necessarily mean the person is addicted.